When my dad had his stroke, everything changed. He couldn't walk without assistance, and stairs became impossible. So when I brought him to live with me at my house in Evergreen Pines, my first move was to build a wheelchair-accessible ramp at the front door. I hired a licensed contractor, filed the permits, and used savings I'd planned for a vacation. The ramp was clean, tasteful, matched the house design, not some DIY mess. My dad cried when he saw it. Not because he was sad, but because for the first time since the hospital, he felt like he wasn't a burden. Then came the letter. Violation, unauthorized structural modification, immediate removal required, $500 fine. I read it 3 times. I thought it had to be a mistake. But it was signed in ink by Derek Langford, president of our HOA. His words in the follow-up email? Modifications affecting the external aesthetic must be pre-approved. The ramp is not in harmony with the community design. Harmony? My dad couldn't get in the damn house without it. I called him. I explained the situation. His tone didn't change. He said I'd set a bad precedent for the neighborhood. I reminded him that the Fair Housing Act protects people with disabilities. He replied, "We have our own standards here." The next day, a neighbor told me HOA board members were walking around my property measuring the ramp. I printed out the FHA, ADA guidelines, and my building permit and marched to the next board meeting. They let me speak for exactly 2 minutes. I told them if they didn't drop the fine and stop harassing us, I'd sue. They smirked. Derek leaned back and said, "We've beaten legal threats before. Do what you need to do." So, I did. I hired an attorney who specialized in ADA and housing discrimination. We gathered everything: correspondence, notices, photos, even doorbell cam footage of HOA members trespassing on my property. That's when things got ugly. They started sending fines weekly. I got anonymous complaints filed with the city about illegal construction. HOA officers were seen photographing my dad while he was on the ramp, as if he was the problem. They wanted to scare me, but they didn't know who they were dealing with. My attorney filed a federal housing discrimination complaint and sent cease and desist letters to the HOA board. Local news picked up the story. Veteran father denied access ramp by local HOA. And guess who else saw the report? The state attorney general's office. An investigation was launched. HOA meeting records were subpoenaed. Turns out, this wasn't the first time they'd targeted people quietly. A family a few houses down had been fined for installing a handrail on their steps for their elderly mother. A single mother was told she couldn't put up a baby gate on her front porch due to sightline obstruction. All of it, ableist cosmetic nonsense disguised as policy. The court didn't just rule in my favor. The HOA was ordered to pay all the fines back, issue a public apology, update their bylaws to comply with federal law, and Derek Langford was personally fined for malicious compliance abuse. He resigned 2 days later. Nobody clapped for him. Now my dad uses the ramp every day. The new HOA board, which I was elected onto, approved a motion called the Access Without Permission Rule, allowing any necessary medical modification to be made without HOA approval. That ramp started as a fight for my dad's dignity, but in the end, it became a battle that made the whole neighborhood more human.